need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it, it's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken. If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it, it's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken.
And shalom aleichem to each and every one of you. We're so glad to have you with us. So glad to be a part of this day with you. This is another opportunity to bring glory to Elohim and all things that is him. No man, no woman, no brother, no sister, no top right rev, no prelate, no magnificent getting glory. Just Yahweh our Elohim. Today is a very beautiful day. It's midweek. Many of y'all been grinding like me, just trying to get it in and get it done and get done what you need to do. But today we're having a very interesting topic, and I want you to pay attention to it today because it's important, especially if you are a leader or you deem yourself a leader or you feel like you want to be a leader, especially when it comes to what we call Christendom and or your church environments. I need you to understand that there are some things you will learn over time and some things you may even not learn, but you will need to know this in order to be effective in the fact that you feel you are a leader or should be a leader. And we're going to talk about those things very clearly. So I think that if you know a leader, you know a pastor, you know a head of a ministry, whether it's a women's ministry, men's ministry, administrative assistant to the pastor, anybody who's over anything, I want you to make sure you get them and tune them in. Remember what we do here. We take the word of Elohim. Man doesn't live by bread alone. Man lives by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. All right, so we want to get started, get ready with that right now. I'm going to take a moment to pray, and we're going to come back. But I want you to hear this because it's important to know that man does not live by bread alone, but literally by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh. Today's subject matter and topic will be, as you can see, silencing of the lamb and the goat. Interesting concept, interesting process, interesting issue. Let's see what the word of Elohim has to say about it. You guys ready for it? Let's get going. Father, we come before you in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, thanking you for all things that are you and from you. We're trusting and believing that all things because of you are what we need them to be, and you alone are holy and righteous to us. I surrender. I believe many that are with me on this broadcast for the proceeding word as citizens of the houses of DKM and BWJ Ministries and those who are in coalition and collaboration with us, Father, and in covering with us. We come to you and say, have your way. We give ourselves to you. We render our souls, our spirits, our minds, and all that we are to you. We don't want to get glory. We don't seek for glory. We seek for you to be glorified and exalted in all things this day. May the blood of Yeshua cleanse us. We plead the blood on our lives, and we're asking you to see us as standing in right stead with you. However that looks for you, teach us, show us, reveal to us what we need to do to get it right and be right in you. This is our earnest and sincerest prayer. And we right now yield all that we are. We come out with our hands up. We surrender to you all things. Have your way in us. Teach us, show us, speak to us, and we will listen and hear you. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we do say and we do pray. Amen. Yep, that is it. Let it be so. So be it. All right, everybody. So you might want to share this one today. I know that lately we've not been getting a lot of shares. So if you're here and you're a part of this ministry and you're part of what we do, please take opportunity to share this with a leader, I'm not asking you to go out and make advertisement. We don't do that here, but just share it on your page. And this way, I think it might be of edification to somebody who swings by it and sees it later on. Again, remember, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. Now, I gave you some graphics. If you're sitting on a Clubhouse, you may not be able to see the graphics that we have unless you go to VWJ Ministries on Facebook or on YouTube. So I got a really interesting and cute little graphic I had last minute came up with, and I hope that we can catch it because I want to make sure we get it. It's an interesting thing, but it makes a great deal of sense to us. One of the first graphics is this one here, and I hope that it makes sense to you guys because you need to get it. Silencing of the lamb and or silencing of the goats is a very serious thing. And many of us believe that because we have the goats and we have the lambs, that there is a really good distinction between the two. And there are. However, I want you to understand this very clearly, and this is just a part of my notes. Many leaders and many people, myself included for a while, fail to realize that a good shepherd has both sheep and goat. Now, always be mindful of that, proposed, desired, aspiring leaders and installed pastors and leaders at present. So just as often as we love in Christendom to state that there's a Judas in every 12, you must remember that goat and lamb are herds that require the same shepherd to tend to them. And they live inclusively, the goats with the sheep and the sheep with the goats. Keep this in mind as well. There's another storyline that comes along with that one that goes on to tell us about the wheat and the tare. Our Savior, our King, told them in the parable, he says, and so they said, who has decided to be so mean to this great person who sowed good seed? And they said, did he sow bad seed? Messiah said, no, but someone came behind him and sowed them. Okay, so should we just go and tear up the tares and pull them out the ground? He says, no, lest you damage the actual sheep, lest you damage the actual wheat. Let the tare and the sheep grow together. Leaders, I'm going to talk to you about something I think it's going to bless your lives. I got any more pastors on here. If you're with me here on Clubhouse, you might want to tap in a pastor for this one because I don't think we talk about it enough and understand it. So again, as I stated in these notes, that herding and shepherding is an inclusive element. So both the goat and the lamb are in fact living together, and they require the same shepherd. They even sound alike. They both bleat. Can anybody tell me what sound that was? No, you can't. All you know, it's bleating, and both the sheep and the goat sound the same way. So just like each other are different from the other, but if you close your eyes and just listen, you could be confused because they sound alike. And so what I want y'all to understand is this, that everything we do and every place we go and every element that we are a part of, you are going to have what's called balance. Now, to every leader, you must understand this. It is his job at a certain time to separate the wheat from the tare. but you must let them grow together, and he will do the dividing. He will do the dividing. So I want y'all to understand this, and I want you to see this. Brother Ward and Brother Servant, y'all so ignorant, bro. Why would I turn you and send you out? I want you to learn something. You're too dumb to see that you're dumb. So you can stay and sit, just be quiet. All right? But please don't come in my house. I don't come in your house and bring no drama to your house. So why would you do that if you think you're a Christian? That's not how we operate. So Brother Jacob Ward and Brother Servant, I'm letting you sit in my chat. But please, no, this isn't the Lord's house. This is my clubhouse room. That's where your ignorance always lets you be seen for the foolishness that you represent. Now, I ain't got no qualms with you. You don't even know me. Just sit there and learn something. I don't debate with people who haven't studied to this level. So now, well, bro, have a good day. So here we go. And may Yahweh actually, I forgive you because you don't even know what you're doing. You're just only going to glorify the Father in what you do. All right? I forgive you and I love you in Messiah, no matter how rude and ignorant and antagonistic you are, and your people who are with you. And I hope that you all understand that that is just the ignorance of learning. All right, so we don't debate. I don't debate with anybody but my peers who've studied to the level that I've studied, and all others I teach. So pull up a chair and learn. Now, everybody else, I want you to catch this because it's extremely important. When we do what we do as leaders, you have these scenarios that go on inside of what Yahweh does for us. He gives us instructions on how to live, how to be, how to do, and how to function. He tells us that the wheat, Messiah says this, you can't make this up. The wheat and the tare, they'll grow together. Now, here's another thing about the sheep and the goat. The sheep and the goat are, in fact, with the same shepherd. They both serve similar functions, but we're going to talk about what that looks like for the rest of us to understand the writ and the word. Now, here is the beauty of Elohim and his purpose. Now watch this, because I want y'all to catch this. This is really good. Hold on a second. Here we go. All right. Realize I had not my moderators up today. All right, moderators, where y'all at? Minister Jackie, good to see you, beloved. Sorry, everybody. And even on those of you who are with us on YouTube and on Facebook, I want y'all to get this and learn this. So to all of our pastors, I want y'all to focus on this and pay attention. I forgot to bring my moderators up. We had some technical issues earlier, so here you go. All righty. Let's get these things straight now. All right, that should be better. Moderators, do what you do. Keep the chat open, but you can evict Mr. Ford and his colleagues. If they want to stay, they can stay, but if they're not going to be quiet, please have them removed. Yep, that's what we do because we believe in decency and order. And when you're ready to actually be decent and humane, you're more than welcome to stay. You can stay, but we're not going to kick you out the room, but we will delete your comments. So please stay. Don't run. Don't leave now. Why you leave? Okay. Hope you catch the reruns so you can learn as well. So, silencing the lamb, we fail oftentimes to realize that the good shepherd is both the shepherd of the sheep and the shepherd of the goat. But always be mindful, pastors and leaders, that you're going to have them with you until Elohim decides to separate them. They all have function. We all talk about it many times that we have how do we say this rightly? We have, what was that phrase I wanted to use? We have wheat and tare. There was another phrase I really wanted to use. It was really on the tip of my tongue. We have those who grow together There it is. Thank you, Yahweh. Vessels of honor and vessels of dishonor. And unfortunately, we don't understand that quite the way we need to, but I do want you to pay attention to it. So when in fact you have both sheep and goat, which most shepherds did, together, they look like the image we put for you up on the VWJ on Facebook and the YouTube image. You see the goats there. If you notice, the goats have to have bells around their neck. The sheep are all sitting down. Though the shepherd is young, this was a quick throw together. We didn't get a good graphic. I'll make a better graphic later. But I wanted to show you how they're all under the same shepherd. They're all there together. They all serve purpose. They all do different things. But one thing they all have mutually in common is that they are, in fact, meals. But they all have specific things that they also render besides meal. The goat also renders milk. The lamb also renders skin, or I should say he's clipped for his wool. And therefore, all those things you seem to get become beneficial to what it is that goes on. Now, all of them render more than one thing, but both of them also, both the lamb and the goat, please pay attention, is also in many instances connected to sin offering. Now I want to pay attention to this. One offering for sin is for the remission of sin. One of them is because of sin, which is why you make the offering. Okay. Now, what Yahweh did was he allowed us the opportunity and the ability to keep, have, and make all things for us to learn from. You do not just throw somebody out. You don't just excommunicate somebody because they decide to be like a goat. Goats always buck against authority. Goats always buck against authority. If you are in a situation and there is not an element that produces camaraderie, and if there's disagreement or there's misunderstanding, the goat will always be bucking against the authority. Now, remember, and I want to ask y'all the question unanimously, does the shepherd ever look to mistreat its herd, be it goat or sheep? No, it doesn't. And the shepherd is always looking to make sure that both of them are eating from the same pasture. Both of them are fed from the same calm streams. But one of them, the goat in particular, I'm going to give you this graphic again to look at. I want y'all to see this graphic. Pay attention to this graphic. It might not be the most optimal, but it is definitely one that can give you the visuals. It gives you the optic. But I want you to understand the goat has to have the bell around his neck. Its antlers grow quicker. Its antlers grow faster. It's got a bell around its neck because it's always sneaking out the house, always sneaking out of the encampment that the shepherd, the good shepherd, provides for it so that it can in fact be safe. Now the shepherd's got to look, and they have to put a bell around the goat because the goat are always getting out, and as valuable as the goat is, it then becomes prey, or it just runs away and you can't find it. And again, ultimately, it becomes prey. If I'm not going to eat it, somebody going to eat it, be it man or beast, right? It's just what's going to happen, okay? So what they do to try to protect themselves and protect their herd of the goat, most times the goat can usually be within, but goats will not eat what sheep eat. Pardon me, goats will eat what sheep eat and then some. I'm going to say it again. Goats will eat what sheep eat and then some. Now, before I get to the written, had a little issue we were dealing with in our chat room, which is perfectly fine. We love people who love to study the word, but we do not tolerate ignorance. And until you understood some things, there's no sense in having a conversation. It's like talking to brick walls. And if you don't like what we do here, why come in our house and bother us? We wasn't bothering you. We didn't even invite you, but you're welcome. But if you're going to come in, please sit down and learn. Don't just open your mouth because you're a bully. We don't do bullies. And in my world, I had to deal with bullies as a child. And for me, in order for me to no longer be afraid of the bully, I had a wise man tell me, he said, well, if you're going to be bullied, next time you see the bully coming, and it's been a tradition that the bully is constantly coming at you, you bust the bully in his nose first. And I mean, bust his nose. I'm sorry. That's just how you cure a bully. And once the bully's followers see the bully go down, they realize that, well, we don't want to bully him no more. And so my life changed the moment I broke my bully's nose, literally. And every day from that point, when he saw me, he went a different direction. So don't ever be bullied by people. I don't do bully well. I'm not going to come for you. But if you cross that line and come at me, you're going to have to deal with these hands. And when I lay them, they won't be praying. They will pray after. You understand? We will pray. The fortunate part is that if I have to lay hands, knowing 13 ways to actually hurt you without having to use a weapon, it'll be after I've reduced you from your aspirations, leave you wondering why you're in pain. I will pray Yahweh heals you. And thereby, Yahweh would none perish, but all come to repentance. Maybe in the prayer, you'll see the power of Elohim and decide that you're going to listen and wonder why, he didn't just kill me, because he could have killed me. He hurt me bad enough that I'm disabled, and he didn't kill me. Why didn't he kill me? Well, it's because Yahweh said he would none perish. So we will pray after I do what you asked me for. Because I've not gotten to that point in my head where if you smack me in my face, I'm going to turn this cheek for you to do it again. Maybe it's just the survivalist, and maybe it's the hood life I came up in. Maybe it's the inner city that's in me. It's something. Maybe it's my dad. I don't know. We just don't do bullies. We just don't do, intrusions that are unwelcomed and uninvited. And we're cool with you coming in uninvited. Just act like you know. If you don't know how to act, then we're going to help you get some act right. Y'all know that's a medication, right? It can be prescribed. There's some act right. You can get some act right in different doses. You can get it in 5 milligrams. You can get it in 10 milligrams. We can get it to you however you need it. Y'all don't know about the Get Right? Nobody's had a prescription to Get Right administered? Okay, all right. My mama used to administer it all the time. I just didn't know you could administer it outside of the house. You didn't get a prescription to Get Right, Act Right? Nobody got a prescription to Act Right? None of y'all? Yep. Okay, all right. Just one person. Okay, cool. So anyway, let's get back to the message. So sheep and goat grow together, and they all require the same shepherd. And the shepherd is the one that knows the difference. So let's talk about what Messiah says about the shepherd and the sheep and all the wonderful things that he does for us in the concept of what it is. Let's go to John chapter number 10. I'm going to put this up on the screen so y'all can read this as well. John chapter 10, verse 27. Grab your Bibles if you can. John chapter 10, verse 27. John chapter 10, verse number 27. Listen to what Messiah says. Let's talk about the sheep and let's talk about the goat. And in every church, you have sheep and you have goat. In every church, you have a synagogue of Satan. That's why my brother's statement was just, if y'all couldn't see inside the thread on Clubhouse, we're not giving glory to it, but just proving to you that just because you know a couple of Bible verses that you can quote off the top of your head, if you don't understand their purpose and the culture, then you don't understand the verse. So when Messiah says that the poor you're going to have with you always, when Messiah says through prophecy of Yochanan that, well, in fact, this is deep here. In fact, there is a synagogue of Satan in every church. There is a seat of Satan in every synagogue. Satan still goes in and out of the heavens, untouched, unbothered by the angels, because it doesn't bother the Father. It may bother us because we think that the Father and the devil got this war going on, that whenever the devil comes into the heavenly place or come into the throne room of Elohim, that the angels go, woo, 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 the devil's here. Fire, everybody. Woo, woo, woo. Alert, alert. Woo, woo. Will Robinson, danger. Woo, woo, woo. The devil is in the throne room of God. Get the archangels. Michael, let's go. Woo, woo, woo. All the angels gather to come find this one little speck of creation that Yahweh made to remove it. That's not what happens. Yahweh and the devil are not talking. The devil's already been judged, and Yahweh employs those he kicked out. He's an equal opportunity employer. That's how Job ended up getting what he got by way of his elevation. Yahweh uses the enemy to elevate you. Somebody say hallelujah. You didn't know that, did you? Yahweh employs the enemy to elevate you. Did y'all get that? Nobody gonna talk to me today? All right, cool.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
We got one person talking. All right. So he goes on to let us know. Look at what happens. Say, and to pastors and leaders and rabbis and wannabe leaders who are not yet sanctioned or ordained and just moving too fast. I want y'all to understand this. There are things you have to understand about being a leader that you can only learn from a leader who is a qualified leader. And qualified leaders won't fight with it. I don't fight with my children. Once I raise them, I raised them to be critical thinkers. They believed in me for a very good period of time, and then they went and got educated. And an education that I helped them to get. I worked for 18 years to prep them to be higher ed. And now once they go on to university and they've gone on to college, for whatever levels of degrees, they could not stop at an AA. They could not stop at a BA. My children they were told you must get your doctorate. And they went for 5, 6, 7 years. And I still get children in school right now, married and still going to school. But I believe that the way we structured our home, you're going to be educated. And you're gonna learn, okay, while you're young. But what was funny was all of them went to college and then came back home after a year. They didn't say nothing the first year because I was still daddy. But you know how it happens when you get old enough, you think sheep can turn to goat quick. You think that, well, I'm talking to other people who are as old as my dad, and they are in these halls that I'm learning from, and I'm getting books and I'm learning different commentary and different theories and philosophies that my dad had never, or my mom had never really talked about. Though if I talked to them about it, I don't know what they would have known. But when I come back home and I'm talking about this discipline that I'm here for, and I know that my parents are in a different discipline and genre of life, they don't know nothing about this. You sort of kind of think that you can just come back and talk to your parents any kind of way. Well, I don't shoot my children or damage my children because they're learning something that they don't know whether I know or not. And they feel like that gave them some power to feel more like an adult. I don't shoot them. I know that I trained them right. And like the prodigal son, they will eventually come to their senses. So I don't kick them out. Now, if they say, I want to leave, give me my behalf that befalls to me, and I'm leaving. I'm leaving on the next train. I don't know when I'll be back again. You know, you want to do all that, go ahead, kick rocks up the road. You know, but I don't shoot my children because they are now exercising the critical thinking I instilled in them and fostered in them the entire time, though their information may have them thinking they can be this and be that and be the other. Do it all in order. You never disregard who brought you to the party, because you got to get back home, especially if you ain't have your own car. Now, if you get there and hijack a car, or somebody gives you a ride because they see how nice you look, remember, we dressed you to get to the ball. They like you because of how you present at the ball. So whatever that is that you're presenting came from a place that you learned it in. And usually what will happen is the people have a motive to literally steal it from you and take that value from you, make you feel like you everything on the planet. But once they've depleted you, they're going to leave you sitting right where they found you. and they will kick you out of their car. And the car that carried you there, that cared for you the most, is far gone, long gone, because you moved away from it. Now you 18 states over, and Uber don't really travel that far. Fortunately, you can always call those who had helped you get to the ball. And when you come to your senses, they can help you get back home. Am I talking good, or y'all just think I'm just talking?
Oh, no, you talking good now. Real good.
Mm-hmm.
Real good.
So you be careful how you got to the ball and then showed out because somebody said, oh, you look fabulous. Oh, you fleek, whatever they used to say back in the day. You is fire, sachet fierce. Whoa. All that they go along with that. Trust me, dear heart, that's flattery. It's going to hurt you. Stay grounded. So here's what Yeshua said to them in chapter number 10 of John, verse 24. Then the Jews came around about him, and they said unto him, how long do you make us to doubt? If you be the Messiah, tell us plainly. Yeshua answered them and I told you, and you didn't believe me. The works that I do. Let me put it on the screen so y'all can see it, because I know y'all like when we can see the word, right? Y'all want to see the word? Y'all want to see the word? Here you go, Facebook. Here you go, YouTube. Watch the word. Look at what it says. Verse number 24 again. Then came the Jews, the religious people, round about him and said unto him, how long dost thou make us to doubt? If you be Messiah, tell us plainly. Yeshua answered them and said, I told you, and you didn't believe me. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. I ain't got to prove nothing to you. It's already been proven. But you didn't believe me because you're not my sheep. Whoa. Verse 24. Can somebody tell me who came to Yeshua? Veronica, can you read? No? Okay. Who can read for me on platform? Nobody. I'll read.
Lindo.
Lindo, can you read verse 24?
If you're not upset with me, where do we go?
Okay, don't worry about it. I get it. So John 10:24 says, thank you though. John 10:24 says, then came the Jews. Now, who did Messiah come to, y'all? He came to his own, right?
Yes.
And his own received him not, right?
Yes. Correct.
Listen to the words of Yeshua. Then came the Jews round about him and said unto him, how long are you going to make us doubt? If you be the Messiah, tell us. Yeshua said, I already told you, but you didn't believe me. The works that I do, they're my Father's name. They bear witness of me, but you don't believe me because you're not of my sheep. As I said unto you, whether you like me or not, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And Yeshua, not your pastor, but Yeshua said, I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father, which gave them to me, is greater than all them people you up there worshiping in the tabernacle, in the temple. And no man is able to pluck them who know what I'm speaking, know this word is truth, out of the Father's hand. I'm not promoting myself. I promote the Father. Verse 30, and I and my Father are one. Guess what these jokers did?
What'd they do?
The Jews took up stones and tried to stone him again. Yeshua looked at them and said, many good works have I showed you from the Torah. Oops. For which of those works do you now want to stone me? Listen to this next word. Look at how the Jews disrespected the Messiah. Verse 33. The Jews answered him and says, look, bro, for good works, we ain't going to stone you. You just keep doing good works and we good. But here's what the problem is, bro. You're blasphemy. How dare you think you're better than us? Because that you, being a man, putting on your pants one leg at a time like I do, putting on your tunic one arm at a time like I do, putting your head through your tallit just like I do, wearing your phylactery, wearing your garb, putting on your script just like I do, walking with a cane just like I do. You being a man, how dare you think you better than us and make yourself God?
Come on, Apostle.
I am going to come, child. I'm going to bring all the heat, bringing bulldozers. I'm busting up every daggone divisive mechanism and bridging inside the church. Y'all going to learn today. Yeshua answered him and says, listen, you know what? I'm not going to go to that part. Let's just talk about the fact that sheep and goat gotta be together. And the one thing I want you to recognize, I'm going to show you this image again. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, I want you to see this image. You notice how the sheep are all one color? The goats got all different kind of colors. Their antlers are very pronounced. They got bells on them. They got to have jewelry. And it allow this bleating. Usually when there's bleating going on in the herd, it's not from the sheep. The reason we say silencing of the goats and silencing of the lamb and silencing of the goats, you know, of course, it was a movie and it probably caught your attention. But I want you to understand this. They sound alike. But the goat, pardon me, the sheep only bleat when they're without direction.
Ooh, that was deep. That's good.
The goat bleat all the time. They just got to say something. They just got to be in something. They just got to be about something. They rambunctious, they anxious, they got to do something. They can't just sit still. You will see the sheep laying down where the shepherd told them to lay. And the goats, they on the side of a cliff trying to climb a mountain. They eating tin cans. They eating soles of shoe. They eating wood bark. And the sheep, like, as soon as the shepherd tells us where to go eat, we going. They just be chill. If you look at that picture right now, all y'all looking at that picture?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They both can eat the grass, the pasture that the shepherd has them sitting in. It's funny how the sheep understand room service. The goat always trying to get out to the mall.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again. Don't nobody come off mic until I say it. If you notice in the picture, the sheep are always, look at the sheep. They're the ones in the back. The goats are the ones in the front. Look at the back. They're always where they were told to sit. They're in the fencing that the shepherds provided, and they're laying down waiting for the shepherd to say move. And they're having room service. Only Elohim and the kingdom can make you eat where you sleep. You're sleeping on the grass. You're going to eat once you wake up. Y'all don't want to talk to me today. But we so busy, some of us like goats, we just feel we got to go out and get something. We got to be somewhere. I got to go somewhere. I got something to do. I got something to say. I got something to say. Bah, bah, clink, 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 bah, clink, 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 bah, clink, 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 clink. You got keys and bells and you jingling, bah, bah, bah. And the shepherd is like, man, this joker done got out again. Where in the world is he going? Where is she going? Where are you going now? And what happens is you cause the shepherd to leave sometimes the stabilized, secure, safe place to come chasing behind your butt out of order. And the shepherd's been looking and paying attention to the potential bear, the bobcat, the lion, whatever else want to eat you, because you are a big snack. All you lambs, even the goats, you are nothing but a meal. You a big snack. Something gonna eat you. If I don't eat you, something else gonna eat you. Now I said I don't eat y'all. Y'all know I'm just talking, you know, in the context of the totem pole, who has what's that called, who's at the top of the totem pole, you know, the ecosystem, and so sheep are food, goat are food. I know it is because I love me some curry goat. But the issue becomes this, that the goat always thinks it knows what's best. Always got to say something. The goat is always the one. The shepherd say, "Come sit down." The sheep is so cool. The sheep just sitting there, and the sheep is like, okay, the sheep just sits down. Sheep don't say nothing. Sheep follow the shepherd. Sheep knows the shepherd's voice. A stranger it will not follow. A goat, on the other hand, dangle another bell in front of the goat. The goat gonna follow the bell with his own bell. Got his own bell on, and gonna follow the other bell. See, I know this because where I live is a rural area. So we got both sheep, we got goat, we got pig, we got cow. So I have this beautiful upbringing of city, straight hood city, and country. Elder Rogers kind of country. And so that's why I know her country. So listen, and the goat will always go wherever somebody else is trying to lure it. And the thing about it is with the goat, it doesn't get lured because it sees something. It gets lured because it hears something. And now it gets sucked out. It goes over by the shrubbery, sees something shaking. Before you realize, bobcat and jumped out and killed it. Lion and jumped out and killed it. Coyote and jumped out and killed it. Man jumped out and stole it. Ain't gonna kill it. Y'all not gonna talk to me today, are y'all? So the silencing of the sheep is making sure that you understand that Yeshua, look, he came to his own, and his own received him not. He told them in verse 24 that when the Jews came around him, then in verse 26, they said, well, tell us if you be he. All right, well, that's why you're here. I'm here to show you what the word says. And you don't believe me because you think I'm blaspheming. You think because I was selected, anointed to carry this message of the Father, that I am, in fact, blasphemous. How dare I, being a man like you, a human like you, got to brush my teeth, wash the coal out my face, my eyes, and just like you. And now you're upset with me because you think I'm blasphemous. Because I call myself Elohim. I call myself, me and the Father are one. You don't mind the good works I do. You just don't like me telling you when you're wrong. My God, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't make this one up. And y'all, here's the problem with hearing crickets. It's the middle of the day. We don't hear crickets down here in my state this time of day. Now, like 12 hours from now, I'll hear some crickets. Wait. So we'll come back and finish the silencing of the lambs and the goat on this coming Friday. Are y'all learning anything with this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great teacher, sir.
So let me help you pastors as well. Amen. Let me help you pastors, and let me help you people who might not even know you walking on the goat side. You can be close to walking on the goat side. You can be close to picking up the habits and the natures of a goat. It just ain't even in you. That's why when I see people transitioning to being something because they just got to be loud and got to be heard and they got to be somewhere they jump. See, the goat, the sheep stay with the shepherd. The goat go hopping around here and hopping around there and hopping over here and hopping over there. I am not that pastor. I'm not that leader. I've never trained a leader. My apostle taught me years ago. If you sit, look at the screen, y'all. Look at the screen. 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 Look at the back of it. You see up in the back. You see the little shepherd boy. If you look in the back, you see the fence that's been set. If y'all see the fence, tell me you see the fence. Type it in. Say I see the fence.
We see it, apostle. We see it.
Come on, Facebook. Come on, YouTube. Tell me you see it. Type it in. Say I see it. I need to know. I'm not gonna move on till you do. Come on, and I gotta go. Hurry up. Come on, YouTube. Thank you, Danielle. Danielle sees it. Yahweh be praised. Anybody else? Okay, Taylor sees it. Good. Okay, good. There you go, Minister Phillips. Cool. I see you, Minister Jackie. All right, good. So y'all see the fence? That means the shepherd has set a place for them to be safe. That means the shepherd has set a place for them to be safe. Now, my apostle taught me years ago, son, once you've set a place for them, do not fall. Here's what she told me. Do not fall for the narrative that says, if the sheep leaves the place you set them for safety, don't you believe the way they teach that he'll leave the 99 and go after the one. That's not what that means. If I've set a place for you and we are set, the gate, I have made the count for 100. And if I wake up in the middle of the night and one or two of y'all done left out because y'all decided to get up and act like a goat and kick the latch and be intelligent enough to kick the latch and open the door, the other sheep that know me know that they're going to be fed in the morning. They know where they're going to get some water in the morning. They know they're going to get rubbed in the morning. They know that they're going to be talked to in the morning. You decided you want to go somewhere else and you go over there. I'm not coming to get you. You left. Now, if we traveling from one place to another pasture, you get lost along the way. Yeah, I'm gonna say, everybody, look, hunker down. Other shepherds that are with me, listen, guys, y'all watch over this. I got to go find them that got lost along the way. Not if I set camp, I set the pasture, and now you walked out of it. Bye. I don't have to look for you. You left. If you got lost following me to the other spot, I'm responsible. That means I didn't lead well. I got to go get you because I know you're trying to find us. But if you were with us and then you left, you were never of us. If you were with us and you don't obey and you don't follow, you don't walk like us, talk like us, breathe like us, you're not of us. Two can't walk together except they be agreed. So pastors and leaders, the difference is, even if there are those who don't walk and talk like you, you're always going to be compassionate and willing to surrender and aid to make sure they're good. But do not be disappointed when they, in fact, take the pearls you cast before them, disregard them, trample them under the weight of their feet and their hoofs, break up those precious pearls you gave them, and then come back and rip you up with them. Don't think it's strange. This is what it means to be a leader. You can't get in your feelings about it. No, you can't seek revenge on them either. No, you can't, Apostle Jones, kill them. That is a direct commandment. You can't kill them. Thou shalt not killeth the person that's cutting at you. Because Messiah didn't kill the Romans, nor the priest that came for him. He could have easily. He told Peter, look, bro, I don't need you to cut off no ears. If I need to end this right here, I can just, and he didn't do it. So we got to learn. I don't feel no ways tired. I had to chill. I will punch you in your throat. You what? You gonna do what? I get what? Yeah, that was me. So I had to tell myself, Apostle, Mr. Minister, VW, you can't be doing that. You can't act like that. You can't operate like that. You understand? So that's what you got to know. And remember, what we did wrong within Christendom is we have allowed for different things and different elements. We look at what Paul talked about. And people think that Paul caused a man to leave the church. Paul didn't. He told them, if that person is still in the fellowship and doing what I wrote to him about twice, y'all talked to him about face-to-face multiple times, and he's still boldly going to do this in the presence of y'all, just let him know we don't rock like that. We don't get down like that. You are not in leadership here. You are not to be told to function in any capacity in anything that we do here, because we can't have that spirit operating inside. We all fall, we all fail, we all fall short of the glory of Elohim, but you are purposefully doing this and very much intentionally. You can still do something and repeat a sin and not be intentional about it. But this joker he was talking to, he wrote to him, they talked to him, he wrote them to talk to him, and yet he is still doing it despite his dad or whatever his issues are. And they're like, listen, at this point, we have done everything compassionate that Yahweh has told us to do with this person. Deliver them over to Satan for the destruction of this flesh, so his soul can live. Now, Paul did not say, as the Christian church has taken this at large, excommunicate them. God said, be ye separatists, saith the Lord. And you kick the person out, and you won't kick anybody out. However, if there is an element of leadership that they may have been in, you do remove them from that position, because what's going to be disseminated through them, if the people still think because they're in leadership that you rocking with them, then they're going to disseminate that vial. And then you're going to have that spirit begin to revolve within your ministry. And there are sometimes that, you know, the goats will push you out, or you know, because the sheep can have their little issues within themselves. You know, the sheep funny. They quiet, they little lambs, but they got their little nasty moments when the shepherd ain't looking. Whoa! So you have to be able to know how to silence the lambs, and you got to know how to silence the goats. And the goats are difficult. And if you don't know how to deal with the goats that are a separate element, it's a problem. One point I want to leave with you, and I'll come back and talk exclusively about it on next week, is please note that the sheep and the goat both are about and can become sacrifices. The goat is a sacrifice because of sin. But as we know, when the Lamb of Elohim came, he was a sacrifice for the redemption of sin. Now, the thing about that is that when the redemptive sacrifice took place, he never said a word. Like a sheep before her shearers is dumb, never said a word. Never talked back, never bucked, never spit, never kicked, never back muled, none of that. He went, laid down. That's why I'm here. He was for the redemption of sin. Now the goat, y'all watch this, and I want somebody to respond, not just one person. And it won't be, I think I've been hearing Lindo all day. It won't be Lindo. I want more than that. Listen, the goat, listen, the goat is one of the primary for or because of sin sacrifices you gave. You know that even in Shavuot coming up, it was a part of the element before Messiah came to bring a goat for sin offering, right? But if you notice, the goat is used, I firmly believe, for the sin offering, because the goat typifies how we are to Elohim, and that's how the goat is to the shepherd. So when you're carrying that goat, when you're carrying that goat for your sin offering to the priest down to the altar, that goat is bucking, that goat is kicking. You know how many times them goats seen a goat like him and one of his goats in the herd with him leave with you and that leash and not come back? Them goats ain't stupid. Them goats, it's like, yeah, nah, I ain't going. So they bucking and kicking. And you got to struggle to get that joker down there and leave it with the priest so it can be sacrificed. And what it should do for you and I is when we take that goat down in metaphor topic, in a metaphor way here, when they take that goat into the place of redemption for their actions, It should remind us the way this goat is acting is the way we act in Elohim's sight. It should remind us of our contradictory, disruptive, almost to the point of divisive, because the goat does in fact like the shepherd. Just want to do whatever the heck it wants to do, and it can't. Not if it wants to be kept safe, not if it wants to be a part of what the shepherd's programming is. Otherwise it becomes prey and dies a violent death and all that goes along with that. All right, my job is done here. It's been a joy and pleasure talking with you guys. Have y'all enjoyed that? Did y'all get that today? We're going to talk about part 2 later on. Is that okay with y'all?
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you, Pastor. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Now, the silencing of the lamb and the silencing of the goat requires the shepherd knowing the plan of Elohim. And of course, you know, the goat always thinks it knows which way to go. The goat always thinks that it's got the right to just talking because it's got breath in its lungs, kicking because it's just got energy. The lamb waits, reserves its energy, eats when told to eat. I'm not talking about controlling people. I'm not talking about pastors controlling people. That's that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a metaphor. We're talking about a comparison and a parallel of how the kingdom of Elohim is to operate in the earth. The church has taken it and gone, and religion has done this whole control thing and all that. That's not what Yahweh wants. So the point is, remember, in order for you to silence the goat and silence the lamb, you must know the word. And that makes Yahweh the only voice in the pasture. Y'all can make that a quote or a reel. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. It's been a joy and a pleasure. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. Listen, be still and know that Yahweh is Elohim. Just be still. Just be still and wait. The shepherd don't move for reasons. He don't move just because he got power. He doesn't move for reasons. There's a whole reason for why he don't move. You got to trust that shepherd. All right, everybody. And if you're a shepherd, you better know Yahweh. You better not be out here just talking to be talking because you got a chance to talk and somebody likes what you said or some other. Listen, if you're in a protected, look at this fencing. If you're in a fencing and there's another marauder, because sometimes you could be in that fencing and there'll be another sheepfold over there. And then, you know, you and you always making noise and all that stuff like that, getting the attention of everything else. And then some other shepherd sees you, not of friendship, not of kindred spirit with yours. And they see you pop out and you always, he gonna take you. And they will use you for the meat that you are. And there will be nothing left of you but bone. I said something right there. Y'all not gonna listen. Okay. I'm gonna shut down right now. I'm gonna shut down.
Talking right.
I'm gonna shut down. I don't know, because ain't nobody amening and hallelujah or God, I see it. Oh my God, I didn't know. Nobody said I repent. Nothing. Nothing. Crickets. But these are the things that we should know. Father, thank you for the opportunity to share your word as you've given it unto me, the pressure and the compression and the compelling that you've given me to share with your people over the last few weeks. I'm asking you now that you would allow for these things to marinate and saturate as we bring conclusion to this on Friday. I hope now that they will sit and marinate over this and look forward to the conclusion, because we're not even halfway there yet. Thank you now that you've given a word. Thank you now that that word is from your word. Thank you now that that word is your word. That's how we live. Not by what we think and what we're talented to do. I don't want my talent to ever outshine your word. It's because of your word that my talent is used. And to you be glory, honor, dominion, might, and power. I hope that this has helped someone to be still and know that you are Elohim. And those you choose to use will always represent you, not themselves. Now may Yahweh bless you all and keep you. May Yahweh make his face shine on you and be gracious unto you. May Yahweh lift his countenance upon you and grant you all 13 attributes of his shalom. All right, everybody, we'll talk to you later on.
If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken. If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken.